What is up? We're back with another live stream, another Sunday live stream. Hope you're all doing really well. I need to just be clear with something here. I have no idea how this connection is going right now. I don't know if you guys can see me. I don't know if it's going to work out or not. So you're just gonna have to bear with me. It may be that the connection's absolutely terrible and the video is not watchable. I really don't know how that's going to be, but we're going to soldier on anyway. Welcome. If you're watching this on replay, then like you're watching this later, then thank you for checking it out. And with the chat, I'll try and keep it as clear as possible for you. So like if there's anything going on in the chat, I'll try and keep it clear on the live so that when you're watching it, if you're watching it later, then you're not confused about what's going on. I'll try and put a few what do you call it, timestamps in there as well, so you can keep up to date, and maybe you can just jump to the part that you want to jump to, and yeah, we can you can maybe do that a little bit easier. Yeah, the quality is bad, Vegan King. Yeah, I can. You guys are probably just going to have to handle this. Unfortunately, the quality, my internet connection is absolutely terrible here. So don't know what to tell you. It is bad, but as long as you can hear me, I guess there's not much else I can do about it. So I'm sorry about that, guys. Hopefully it improves as we go on, but if it doesn't, then I'm just gonna have to soldier on. All right, so we've got some topics for today that we're going to jump into. If those of you that saw the 5 Minute Friday, you know the topics already. We've touched on them in some sense. We're going to go into them in more detail. Again, we're going to talk about them and elaborate on them a little bit. And let's just kick right off. I mean, I don't want to waste any time. We're going to jump in. We're going to talk about Piers Morgan. Now, I don't know if you know, but if you don't know, Piers Morgan has been, again, mouthing off about vegans, giving vegans shit. This is something that he does quite a lot, actually. He's well known for getting vegans onto his show and giving them shit, as well as, posting about vegans. And his most recent nonsense, I don't know if you've seen this, but his most recent nonsense was on his Twitter, which I'm going to show you right now. If it's blurry, maybe you're not going to be able to see it, but yeah, here it is anyway. He's posted about this vegan butcher shop called Rudy's Vegan Butcher, saying, no wonder the people wonder why I've written a book about the world going nuts. Basically saying the world's going nuts. He's also posted it on his Instagram as well. What fresh hell is this? Utterly ridiculous is what he's had to say about that. Now, this is all over a new shop, the Vegan Butcher, right? Which is going to be, when it opens, it's going to be serving mock meats. It's going to be serving like vegan versions of popular kind of, let's say, like cuts of meat, well, cuts of animal flesh. That's basically what this place is going to do. It's going to kind of copy that and make it into like a traditional British butcher, but everything's vegan. So it's a really good idea, obviously, and only a fucking moron would take issue with it, to be honest with you. And that explains why Piers Morgan has, in fact, taken issue with it, because he is a fucking moron. But what's interesting is, I don't know about you guys, but I've seen people posting about this vegan butcher, right? Rudy's Vegan Butcher. I've seen people posting about it, but I've not seen anyone posting about it who has 1.2 million followers on Instagram, and I think he's up to 7.6 million followers on Twitter. So although, yes, he's giving us shit, he's giving vegan shit, and he's ripping into this place, I mean, that's a lot of people that he's just exposed to this, We're talking 8.8 million people potentially between the two social media platforms. 8.8 million people that he has just posted this to, right? About veganism, about this vegan butcher. 8.8 million. Think about that for a second. Now, I'm doing my best out here, right? I'm doing my best out here. And Joey and James and Ed and, there's loads of activists out there with big followings and loads of vegans with big followings, right? But do we have a total of 8.8 million? Do we? And I don't think so, right? I don't think all the vegan activists in like the world have a total of 8.8 million followers. So actually, he's a pretty damn good vegan activist. And this is kind of what I was trying to get to in my 5-Minute Friday, but I really wanted to get into it further because, look, he's kicking off, as Vegan King just said in the comments, he's kicking off debates, right? He's kicking off debates. He's kicking off arguments and discussions. I mean, look at this. So you got 525 retweets, 8,900 likes on this. You got all the vegans, obviously, in the comments there, but like on his Instagram, let's take a look. Look at that, 3,000 comments. 3,000 comments. And we know what's going on here, don't we? We got some like, you know, some funny, I've liked that. That's all right, though. I know, Decky. We got some funny comments from vegans, you know, being sarcastic. We got some support from vegans as well. Going to like that. Love Picky Wops too. So I'm just going to go and like these comments because I know these people. I know these accounts. Piers is a closet vegan, you know, but anyway, you get the point. There's some big debates in here. See, look, here's someone here. Here's somebody who's not even a vegan. If there's a market for it, what's the harm? I don't think attacking and humiliating a small business is the way forward. I just hope your post gives some great exposure. I eat meat, by the way. So this dude is a non-vegan, a meat eater, who's actually like, nah, Piers, you're full of shit. You know? And as much as like, yeah, obviously I don't have a lot of respect for this guy because he's you know, abusing animals, but at the end of the day, he's got enough common sense to call out Piers Morgan's bullshit. And this photo, this post that Piers Morgan put out there, it reached this guy, this Ian Yarwood. Now let's imagine Piers didn't make this post, right? Piers never posted about the vegan butcher. Would this Ian guy have ever seen the vegan butcher? I don't think so, right? There's an argument to say maybe he would never have seen it. So my point is yeah, 8.8 million people potentially could be exposed to veganism, and mock meats specifically in this case, thanks to Piers Morgan. So in conclusion, I mean, unpopular opinion for me, I think he's actually doing a pretty good job of getting exposure to veganism, well, specifically to vegan products, maybe not to the ideology or the concept of veganism and what it means. Of course, he's not doing a big job for that. He's not doing a very good job of that, but he is getting exposure to small vegan businesses, and sometimes he is getting exposure to the vegan like ethics, because he brings people like Joey Carbstrong onto his show. And if you haven't seen that debate, I recommend you do get on there and watch that. It's on YouTube, as well as some other activists that have been on his show, some of the vegans. So yeah, I think he's an activist in a weird way. I mean, is it not an argument to say that he is some form of activist? Like maybe he is actually a closet vegan, and this is all just his tactics, you know? What do you think? Is this an unpopular opinion, or are you on board with this? Because I don't know. I feel like he's getting more reach than a lot of us could ever get. So I think he's doing us a pretty good job. I'm gonna have a quick look through some of your comments now and see if there's anything. Yeah. So have I seen the Joey versus Piers Morgan debate? The Vegan King is asking. Yes, I have. And as I said, I recommend you also go and check it out. It's really good. It's a really good. Well, I wouldn't call it a debate. It's more just like an argument, to be honest with you. But it is good. It is a very good video. I recommend you check it out. What else do we have here? Anything about this at all? Okay. No. Yeah. Piers is the best vegan activist we have. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I'd say he's definitely getting some of the word out there, and we can't doubt that, can we? He's definitely doing something. All right, so I guess we're gonna fly through these quick topics. I've actually got a few topics lined up, and a few that were not involved in the 5-Minute Friday, and a few things I want to talk about as well. So let's move on. Let's jump into the next topic, which actually I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about this. Now check this out, right? This is really interesting. This was a post by porkbusiness.com. So this is an industry website, all right? Porkbusiness.com. Farm Journals, pork. This is like, behind enemy lines, all right? And these guys made this post, this article, and they're upset about some laws in California that, if you watch the 5-Minute Friday, I'm sorry I'm repeating myself, but let me just explain why they're upset. So basically, there's a new law in California that is going to require them to do all of this, right? These pig farmers. So basically, the long story short, you can read that if you want. I'm not going to read it out just now because it's quite long, and I think you could just check it out yourself. But basically, this Proposition 12 is going to improve the welfare of the pigs in these pig farms, right? And it's going to be, I think that they're talking about maybe even implementing it in the US overall, right? So it's going to change the way that pig farmers abuse pigs, basically. They're still abusing the pigs, but they just can't do it in the most cost-effective way anymore. And when it becomes less cost-effective, it means that obviously the welfare is improved, but more importantly, it's going to cost them billions. All right, it's going to cost them literally billions. I think I can find the quote here as to what the university said it was going to cost them. Here it is, right? Between 1.87 and 3.24 billion dollars. Just think about that for a second. It could cost them as much as 3.24 billion dollars on a minimum of 1.87 billion dollars. This new proposition, right? If it gets passed, if it gets put into law, and they have to comply. They will have to comply if it gets passed. Now, this is insane, right? This is incredible. But what's interesting about it is it brings up a whole other debate, right? The debate being, this was obviously action. This came into play because of welfarist activism, right? Because there are activists out there, animal rights activists out there, who are doing activism and protesting for welfare. They want to improve the welfare of farms, and they are most likely the people who have brought about this situation that's going to cost them this much money, this, billions of dollars. This is literally going to close farms. This is going to cause farms to close permanently because they won't be able to afford it. So that, in my eyes, is something that's very effective. If something is closing farms, if something is causing the industry to take hits of billions of dollars, it's effective, right? So then it brings up the question, and this is what I've been trying to go through, is there a place in the animal rights movement for welfarist activism, for welfarism? Because obviously, I would consider myself an abolitionist, an abolitionist activist. Obviously, I don't want improved welfare. I want the animal holocaust to end. I want it finished. I don't want it to be improved. I want it to end, as probably all of you in this chat right now do also, right? As most vegans do. However, I'm seeing that, is there not a place for welfarist activism? Does that not make sense if it costs billions of dollars? And this is kind of where I'm up to right now. And I'd love to get some of your thoughts on this, because this is an interesting topic that I don't think, I'm not sure if I've not seen many others debating it in this sense. I've seen people debating the abolitionist approach versus welfarist approach, but I've never seen people bring up the fact that in a welfarist approach, it could cost the industries literally billions of dollars by making them improve their welfare, like forcing them to, purchase bigger cages, or to bring in new laws that make it illegal to operate the way they're operating. This actually costs them billions and closes a lot of these places. Could that be considered as part of an abolitionist approach? Because ultimately, you are abolishing those farms. They are stopping, right? However, you actually, in the end, protested for a welfarist law. Could that be considered abolitionist if the goal is to still abolish these industries and these practices and just stop them, right? I would argue yes. I think I would argue in a sense yes, because in my eyes, I'm kind of coming to this live right now. This is like me figuring this out live, by the way, so just bear with me. But I feel like if you are if you are protesting, let's say, if you are lobbying for better welfare with the goal of literally closing down multiple farms or slaughterhouses or both, then you are advocating for abolition. But welfarism is part of your strategy, right? And obviously, like if you go to someone in the street and you say, yeah, actually just buy from the organic farms, then that's not causing financial losses. That's not powerful activism. That's not going to change anything, really, is it? And if anything, you're giving a confusing message to the consumer that animal abuse is okay on some level. But if you're lobbying at a political level, if we're talking about protesting at a political level where you're trying to get the government to put more sanctions down to try to make it more difficult for farmers to do their jobs, basically, but you're doing it because you want it to stop, and you know that by doing this, the farms will have to stop, could that not be considered abolitionist? I'm leaning towards yes, to be honest with you. And Special Snowflake is in the comments here, and I want to just quickly put this message up on the screen right now, because This I 100% agree with, right? I 100% agree with you here that they will think it's okay just to eat a few animals, talking about the public here, or buy high welfare meat or whatever, and that it's still supporting animal exploitation. That's why I agree. I wouldn't go out and advocate to a member of the public to to go for better welfare. But I'm talking about specifically like not the public. I'm talking about in a political sense here. I'm talking about like lobbying. I'm talking about political pressure, pushing governments to improve welfare, which is, it's not really what we want. We don't obviously want the animals to we don't want the animals to be in a worse condition. Obviously, we'd rather them be in better conditions. We'd rather them stop completely, of course. But if we do advocate for them to have better condition, less bad conditions, it costs billions of dollars and puts a lot of businesses out of business for good. That's the point I'm getting at. And that, in my eyes, it could be considered as part of an abolitionist strategy to stop these places from operating. That's what I'm trying to say here. So this is new ground for me, really, because once I read that article, I just, I had to kind of rethink a few things and, maybe alter my perspective a little bit, because I mean, these guys are desperate. Let me just kind of bring this up again. I mean, look at this. They're like talking about how the industry can help here. They're talking about, trying to get this stopped. I mean, even here, look, it will cost individual farmers millions of dollars. The ones least able to bear that cost will be small family farms. So basically, they're saying it's going to shut farms down. It's going to stop farms from operating. And they're scared, right? Like I said, this is an industry website, and they're terrified of this. They really are. So let me tell you, like, how many times have you heard of farmers being scared from activists talking to the public on the street, right? I mean, I don't think they really care about us doing that. But this is, this welfarist activism has terrified them. They can't afford it. Like, they literally can't afford to make the changes. So, it's a bit of an eye opener for me, and it could be a bit of a game changer. And hey, if any of you want to come on, by the way, to the live stream, if you've got a strong opinion on this and you'd like to discuss it with me right now, you are more than welcome to come on. Just let me know in the comments, and I'll somehow send you the link. I don't know if I can do it privately. Yeah, I can send you the link privately. So yeah, let me know, and you can jump on and you can let me know what you think, and we can discuss it. And that goes for any of these topics, by the way. If any of you do want to jump on and pitch in on any of these topics at any point and join the live stream for a little bit, then you are very much welcome to do so. But I am curious on your thoughts on this one, and yeah, about this welfarism versus the abolitionist approach. I'm still very much leaning toward the abolitionist approach, but I do entertain the idea that this welfarist activism could be part of an abolitionist strategy, and I think it's sensible to do so, as much as it may go against our ideological side of this. The ideological beliefs. I think we do have to be realistic in what we could achieve with that as well. So yeah, it's an interesting topic, and I'd like to get into it a lot further. Maybe I could bring someone on at some point, and we could actually debate it, or not debate it, but discuss it in more detail. I think that would be really cool for us to do also. Let's keep going on, and let's keep jumping forward. I see you're getting crazy in the chat there. I don't know what you're all chatting about. I've kind of missed a lot of it, but take it easy on each other. Yeah, if there's a troll in there, just tag them and let me know this person's trolling, and I'll just I don't know, block them or something like that. No worries. Let's jump on to the next topic then, unless you want to discuss this abolitionist versus welfarist thing a little bit. As I said, if any of you do want to discuss it in more detail, you can jump on the live stream with me, and we can do it. We can definitely do it, no problem at all. Just gotta drop me a message here, and we can go for it. So let's move on to the next topic then. We're going to talk a little bit about this post that I saw, and we're going to get into definitely a controversial topic here. Dating non-vegans. Dating non-vegans. Let me know in the comments right now, how many of you are dating a non-vegan, or have dated a non-vegan, or how many of you would date a non-vegan? All right, let's if someone's trolling in the comments, just leave it. Yeah, don't worry about it. Let's keep keep on topic. You trust me, you're going to enjoy this a little bit more if we stay on the topic rather than debating random people in the comments in the live chat. But I can bring that comment. Actually, do you know what? Let's do this. I see what this dude's talking about, this Indapal thing. Let me bring these comments up and let's just deal with it, all right? If you want it to be dealt with, let's have a look. Indapal Singh. Where are we looking? Where are we looking? I'm going to find out what Indapal has been saying because you all seem to be a little bit into this. I'm just going to answer it on screen. We can just get it done, right? Could just get this guy. Okay. Indapal's an aspiring vegan and wants to know if we should stop eating onions and potatoes as well. Is that what the basic gist of this is, or what?
We asked the question in the beginning.
All right. Yeah, what was the... Oh, I've got it. Okay. So this guy started a bit of a debate, so I'll roll with the punches, all right? We can pause the topic so we can jump into this. What is your opinion on eating ground-based vegetables? Are they good for vegans, knowing that so many insects get killed while pulling them out of the ground? Well, first things first, I don't think that... I personally will do everything I can to avoid, like, unnecessary harm, right? So that's to animals. So basically, if people ask me, do I kill mosquitoes? I don't kill mosquitoes, for example. I catch them and I put them outside. Why? Because I can do it. I don't need to kill them. All right, simple as that. That's the kind of ethics that I run on. In terms of eating vegetables, I cannot live without eating vegetables. Like, it's not possible. It's literally impossible. Now, I can make efforts to try to get my vegetables locally grown, which I do. I can try to get them organic, which when I can afford it, I do. But the majority of the time, I can't afford it. Otherwise, I have to eat, I have to consume, I have to get calories, I have to get nutrition. So I do what is necessary. And that's the word, necessary. This is necessary. It is a necessity, all right? It is a necessity. So are they good for vegans, knowing how many insects get killed while pulling them out of the ground? Well, as I've just said, if you look at the logic and look at the way that my personal ethics run, well, it is a necessity. I have to do it. I have no choice. I can't grow them myself. I can't always buy them from places that don't use insecticides or pesticides. But even if they don't use insecticides or pesticides, there's probably a highly likely chance that they would still killing insects while pulling them out of the ground. It's not avoidable. But if you are really concerned about the vegetables, if you're really concerned about the plant food, it's also important to consider how much plant food like I eat versus how much plant food one cow eats. And let me tell you, the cow, for example, or a pig, or loads of other animals, they eat a lot more than a human. And not only do they eat a lot more than a human, but there are significantly more of them. So on the planet, the number of land animals that we kill every year for food or use and kill for food is 60 billion. Which is significantly more than the number of humans that we have on the planet, right? So if you want to save plants and therefore save insects, you should still go vegan, because you'll be saving more of both by not consuming animal products, because there are more animals being bred and abused, and the plant food they eat is also killing plants and killing insects whilst they get those plants. So it's still, the right choice is still to be vegan. The sensible choice is still to be vegan if your concern is insects and or plant life, depending on, or both, right? So yeah, I hope that answers that question and deals with that completely. I don't know if there's anything more. I'm going to keep going through and see if he said anything else. Yeah, I think that's more or less it, right? Is it? Or is there something else? I don't know. I see you guys kept on debating, but I hope I just kind of dealt with it there. And then an Indapal, listen, it's not a bad question. There are no bad questions, to be honest with you. There are questions that vegans hear a lot, but it doesn't make them bad, okay? And at the end of the day, look, if that's your concern, as I said, if insects are your concern, then being vegan will kill less insects. So veganism is not all or nothing. We live in a non-vegan world. We don't really have a choice most of the time, but to do things that we need to do. But we all, in this chat, I'm going to safely assume that all of you have the complete ability to be 100% vegan, not to consume any animal products right now. So, I'd say Indapal, do it, man. And if you're based in India, I'm sorry if I'm assuming this incorrectly, but I just look, Indapal Singh, it seems like an Indian name. If you are based in India, India is one of the easiest places to be vegan, because most of the food is, a lot of the food is already like vegan by default, and especially most of it, if not all of it, is vegan by default in most of the country, if you take out the ghee and the cream the dairy products, basically. There is a significant amount of veg food that can be made vegan just taking out dairy products. So it's very easy, and it's also very much convenient and affordable. Not that it matters anyway, because even if it was inconvenient and slightly more expensive, we should still be making the effort, because we're against animal abuse, aren't we? That's the point. So be consistent. All right. Unless there's anything more on that, I think we can move on, right? To a different topic. Hey, don't be ripping on this guy. Like, I answered his question. Oh wait, he's come back and said something here. I'll answer this and then we'll move on. Potatoes and onions are not necessary, but it'd be hard for me to exclude carrots as they're genuinely healthy. People can use. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this responding to someone else here? Oh right, potatoes and onions are not necessary. I mean, based. Okay, where are we going with this? I'm kind of lost here. Are you saying only potatoes and onions cause insects to die? No, pretty much every single vegetable causes insects to die. Every single vegetable is gonna cause some kind of harm to some animal, unless you grow them yourself, and even then, you're probably gonna harm some animal. So I don't really understand the point here. If you're talking about Jainism, yeah, if you're talking about Jainism, Jains, I'm going to just straight up say it, Jains are some of the biggest hypocrites I've ever seen in my life. Jainism preaches ahimsa, non-violence and compassion to all beings, yet Jains will contribute to one of the most violent and horrific industries on the planet, the dairy industry. So if you are talking about Jainism, and that's what we're going on about here, about root vegetables, then, I mean, if you're not vegan and you're a Jain and you're preaching right now, you're just a massive hypocrite. So, you know, don't do it. Don't be a fucking hypocrite. All Jains by default should be 100% vegan. They should, all Jains by their own logic, by their own belief system, should not be consuming any animal products whatsoever. So I've been lectured by Jains before on root vegetables, and the hypocrisy is insane to be lectured on root vegetables when one is contributing to the horrific violence done to sentient beings, right? Because let's be very clear. There's a very big difference between chopping a carrot and chopping up an animal's body. But like, if we're talking about Jainism, there's a very big difference between chopping up a potato and breeding and enslaving cows, taking the babies away from them, and then, you know, exploiting them for their bodies, for their reproductive system, for their milk, and, you know, for just years and years and years. There's a very big difference between the two. All right, so like, and if you find that insensitive, you know, that I just talk about religion so kind of bluntly like that, I mean, this isn't the channel for you. If you find it offensive to speak plainly about religion, you need to go to a different channel, because on a one-to-one basis, in a one-to-one discussion, I'll be respectful, you know, to religion. But if I'm on a live stream on my channel, I'm going to speak my mind freely. So if it's not the place for you, if you get upset about talking about religion in such a plain, frank way. All right, so you guys are getting into this. I have basically gone over what I wanted to go over with that comment. So I'm going to go back to the other topic. All right, we're going to jump. Yeah, if you think lentils is talking, yeah, this guy's wasting the time. Look, if you guys want to move on right now, we can move on to the next topic, and I want to get your opinions on this. As I said, I want to talk about dating non-vegans, because there was a story I wanted to go over with you. So I'll ask the question again. What is the situation for you? Are any of you dating a non-vegan right now? Would any of you date a non-vegan? And have any of you dated a non-vegan as a vegan? Tell me in the comments now, what's the situation? And especially, I want to know, are any of you dating a non-vegan, and what's going on with that? I'd love to know that and how that's going for you. And the reason I'm asking this question, I'll put this up on the screen while I wait for you to reply, because there is a bit of a delay. So I saw this as a Reddit post, and this means here, AITA, am I the asshole, right? Am I the asshole for refusing to cook my boyfriend and his kid non-vegan food? And I saw this and I thought, fuck, I wonder how many of you are dealing with this bullshit, right? So this person, the boyfriend, lives with a boyfriend and a 6-year-old that he has from a previous relationship. I don't think that's really important, but yeah, whatever. And basically, long story short, this dude is asking her to put cow's milk and butter in mashed potatoes for the dinner for him and his kid. And she's like, no, make your own. You know, she's not going to make 2 meals. Doctor and nutritionist says the child is fine. She won't buy it. She won't cook it for him. And she's checking to see, like, is she the asshole, right? And I don't know. I saw this, and my immediate reaction, if you saw the 5 Minute Friday, you know what my reaction was. I was like, fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. Oh my God. I felt so bad for this woman, because it's like, imagine going on. And I assume this is a woman. It could be a guy. I just went for the guess there, but whatever. This person, imagine having to ask yourself, right? Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole? Like, imagine like what this guy has made them feel like, you know, how guilty he's made them feel for standing up for their morals. It's absolute bullshit. And it just made me start to think, like, yeah, what's going on with you guys? Already you dated non-vegans, and you know, what is it like? Are you dealing with anything like this? So we've got a few comments back here. Now, Vegan King, I would never date a non-vegan. It's fair enough. I think I'm with you on this as well. I don't think I am with you on this. Vegan Tina is married to a vegan and would never date a non-vegan. Well, I would hope not if you're married. You shouldn't be dating anyone. Well, I mean, whatever you're into, right? But if you're married, I wouldn't recommend going on dates, yeah? We've got Michael saying I wouldn't date a non-vegan. Teresa is dating a non-vegan. Teresa, tell us a little bit about that. Are you having any of the challenges that I just mentioned there? Does that ring any bells for you? Or yeah, could you date someone who drinks the breast milk of another species? If that's questions for me, that the answer is absolutely fucking no. Of course not. Could never do it. Just it's such a difference in morals between the two. And a lot of people, you know, a lot of you may argue, well, we can change them, you know, we can change, but you shouldn't start dating someone with the intention of changing them. That's not a recipe for a successful relationship, is it? I mean, maybe I don't know, dating, it depends how you define dating. Maybe you could be friends with them first and try and get them to go vegan, and then you know, keep them in the friend zone until they get it, you know. Let's have a look at what if she complies, she isn't vegan. Well, that's a whole other topic, isn't it? If she complies, she isn't vegan. I mean, some people, you know, they get pressured into this kind of stuff, and they don't have a community to help them. So I wouldn't go as far as taking, you know, attacking someone and be like, she's not vegan. I would definitely look into it a bit further. If she's proud of what she's done, then I'd say, right, okay, that's some bullshit. But if she's like pressured into it and didn't have any friends or community, or you know, I would have some sympathy and be like, listen, you know, next time just go to the community and we can help you through this, and you know, be strong, stand up for yourself, kind of thing. I think encouragement is more necessary rather than blame in a lot of these circumstances. Oh no, I don't want to put this comment up on the screen because it's a bit nasty, but I think I'm going to anyway, because this is an 18 plus live stream. White Crow says, I would fuck a non-vegan, but not tasting them. Don't ban me. What? Why draw that arbitrary line? I mean, you've got to, you wouldn't kiss them then as well, because isn't that more or less the same as what you're getting at here? Is anyone else agreeing with that? It's kind of, that's nasty, but yeah, it's all right. We can be honest here, can't we? Another one, dating a non-vegan. Tell us, Reluctant Warrior, please, have you experienced anything like what I've just mentioned? All right, let's get into a bit more detail then, shall we? I see some more detailed comments here. Let me just I just lost them. Where we go? Okay. Would not date a non-vegan unless maybe they were open to it, but sadly, people don't only date but marry non-vegans, but wouldn't even dream of dating someone being for other forms of oppressions. Yeah, it's interesting, because we also have to consider like that some people don't actually, well, not some, a lot of people, most people don't even see veganism or what happens to animals as any form of oppression. So when you say I wouldn't date anyone who was for other forms of oppression, it's a complicated topic, because most people don't even see it that way. So it also comes with like a, you know, there's a caveat here that you need to educate someone, or at least introduce them to the idea of the fact that what happens to the animals is a form of oppression. And then if they were still for it, then you'd say, yeah, all right, well, fuck you, you know. And it's obviously never that simple, but you get my point. I think dating life versus like outreach life, I think these two are very different things, you know. dating life, a lot of people say, well, you know, I wouldn't write off a friend just for not being vegan. I wouldn't like ditch my friends for not being vegan. But it's like, yeah, but you don't spend so much time with your friend and your friends. You don't invest in them as much as a partner, right? So I think that's a completely different thing, having friends who are non-vegan versus having a partner who's non-vegan. Prina says, if I'd never date a non-vegan, I would rather be single and live alone with my vegan doggos for the rest of my life. I think that's not too much of a bad idea, to be honest with you. But fortunately enough, there are a lot of vegans in the world. So, you know, I'm sure you would find a nice vegan person to date before it got to that point. Not that living the rest of your life with your dogs would be a necessarily bad thing. Don't get me wrong. Be Vegan Now says, I wouldn't date a non-vegan. That's like dating a rapist or a murderer who keeps raping and murdering and thinks it's fine to rape and murder. Well, again, it's like what I discussed earlier. A lot of it comes down to the fact that most people who aren't vegan, they don't see it, or they never thought about the fact that it is a form of oppression, and what happens to these animals is rape, definitely, and murder. Obviously, is I think I don't really use that because it's the definition of the word. I don't know if it. I would like the definition to change to be a non-animal specific word, but at the moment it's an animal specific word. But of course, I think murder it's not even the most powerful way to describe what happens anyway. I think it's brutally killing animals, like brutally, you know, killing them, slicing their throats. I prefer to discuss it in that sense because slitting the throats is a far more powerful way of saying it anyway. But yeah, the point is like, yeah, it is what it is. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't think about it. So once we bring it to them, if they still don't claim not to care, then of course, then you would never date them, would you? So yeah, about the thing that I showed you, yeah, we're talking about this woman, and Teresa says it's straight up disrespectful to the woman that we talked about just here, who was, you know, the boyfriend's trying to make her cook non-vegan food. It is straight up disrespectful. It is absolutely disrespectful, and I wouldn't stand for it. And this is the thing. I'm hoping that none of you are putting up with this bullshit, you know, because it is bullshit, right? You know, there's no doubting. There's not even a question. It is absolute bullshit, and I really do hope that none of you stand for it. Like, stand up for yourself if this ever happens to you. Like, if anyone ever tries to make you cook or do something that is a product of or involves abusing animals, then just fucking stand up for yourself. I'm not going to do that. You know, you don't have to be aggressive with it, but the fact that they're even asking you is just insane, especially if they know where you stand, right? If they know where you stand and they know your ethics, it is incredibly insane that they would even think to request that you would do that, isn't it? Isn't that just complete insanity? It's just so, it's so, offensive isn't even the word. It's just so disrespectful because, I don't know, being offensive, I don't think that's really an argument to do or not do something. Oh, it's offensive. Who gives a shit if it's offensive, right? We offend people daily. This is how you get people to listen. But disrespecting people is a different thing altogether. And I think if your partner's disrespecting you like that, and then they shouldn't be your fucking partner. Like that's not something you should have to put up with from a partner, you know? The hardest question, would you date a Sadhguru fan? I wouldn't date anyone because I already have a partner. But if I was single, no, probably not. No, I'm joking. I don't really care. Sadhguru fans, Vegan King, I know you've got the biggest grudge with Sadhguru fans. It's really not. I'm sure they're not all that bad, man. There's some nice people out there who like Sadhguru, okay? Come on. Don't be so harsh. It's just they get really upset when anyone questions Sadhguru. That's all. If they're vegan Sadhguru fans, then it's awesome, right? Oh my God, we've got a troll in here. Should I? I might just put this user in timeout. And just block them. I just blocked that troll. It's just being a little bit silly. I don't want them distracting any of you guys. All right. As I said, anyway, any of you want to come on here to discuss any of this live with me, you are more than welcome to. I feel a little bit weird just having my face right here for this whole thing. You are all more than welcome to jump onto the live with me and have a chat. So just let me know. But we will move on to some of the other topics that I've actually didn't include in the 5 Minute Friday that you might be interested in, that I want to share with you. So check this out, right? We're gonna go on to another topic now. Are you ready to move on? Let me know in the comments. You ready to move on, or do you want to keep talking about this dating non-vegans? Because I feel like we kind of got through it. I'll just kind of summarize and closing on my thoughts on this. If you want to date a non-vegan, that's your call. I wouldn't date a non-vegan, and I don't understand how one could. To be honest with you, I can't understand how a relationship like that would work. It would be kind of like a Black Lives Matter protester dating a racist. You know, it wouldn't really. I wouldn't understand it. I wouldn't understand why it happened. I would try to understand why it happened, and I do understand why some of you do date non-vegans. Don't get me wrong, but it is kind of I don't know the word, maybe not unusual, but I imagine it being very challenging. I imagine it's very challenging to face them abusing animals on a daily basis. And I just don't understand how the relationship would work. I just don't understand how you could make that work. Like, how could you love someone who is doing that and knows what's going on and still does it? I don't get it. I don't get it, you know? And maybe I'm just short-sighted on this, you know, but I really just, yeah, I don't get it. All right, I'm going to show you something. We're gonna jump onto another topic. This one wasn't in the 5 Minute Friday. Grumpy Vegan Grandad. I said it again. Grandad wants to come on. So let me see if I can send them a quick private chat. I don't know how this works. Hold up. I'm just trying to get Grumpy Vegan Grandad in. How does this even work? Hold up. Yeah, you're gonna have to give me a second because I really don't know how to do this. Balls to it. It's all right. I can just literally send the link out. And if you guys, by the way, you can all click this link and try and join, but I can only add you. You'll only be on the screen if I add you in. So don't do anything silly. Here's the link. There you go. If any of you wanted to join, there is the link to join. So Grumpy Vegan Grandad, if you want to join, that's the link. It's there. I don't know if you can copy and paste that. I'm sure you can. Or if you're on the YouTube chat, I think it comes up as a link. Maybe. I don't know. It come up. Yeah, it's that. So yeah, if any of you do want to join, you can jump onto that. Jump onto that link there. No problem. Here he is. Hold up. All right.
Hey there, I don't know why I'm yellow. I've no idea.
Oh, mate.
It's nothing to do with jaundice. It's nothing to do with vegan diet. I don't know. Oh, there we go.
Oh, nice. It's a white balance or something, right? That was funny, man.
Oh dear. Yeah, you piqued my curiosity because I have been with my wife for 21 years.
Right.
She's not vegan. I have a 30-year-old son living at home. He's not vegan. I have a 19-year-old son at home. He's not vegan. So my question is, what the fuck do I do? I've been vegan nearly 5 years now.
Yeah.
Now, I know you're saying, how can you do that? And
more like how, as in like practically, I mean, like not like in a like a sense of how can you do it to the animals. I mean more like practically, how does it work, you know? That's what I was more interested in.
Well, here I am in my house on my own, eating alone. That's
right.
That's how I do it. I've got my own pans. We share the fridge. I have to open it up and see dead animal parts in it. I go to pig vigils and I smell bacon cooking. I no longer do any shopping. I mean, the first step, I have gone a bit more radical of late. And my mum was the last one. My mum's in her 70s, and she said, "Will you pick me up some milk?" My dad is using vegan milks. He's using plant-based milks, nut milks, but he's really, really ill. He's very he hasn't got long left. But my mum said, "Can you pick us up some cow's milk?" And I went, "No." And she went, "Why not?" I said, "Because I'm vegan, Mum." And she went, "Well, you just get me some." I said, "I can't, Mum." And she could not understand it. She could not understand it. But I have stopped shopping for my immediate family who live here with me for any animal products. I will not buy them.
Right.
So yeah, it is a precarious position that I'm in at the moment.
Yeah, sounds it, mate. And like, how is that impacting you in terms of like your, I don't know, man. I was gonna say like your mental health, but I mean in terms of like your stress levels, you're like, how is it opening the fridge and seeing that after being at a pig vigil, or I know you're making content yourself. Like, how is it putting these messages out and being who you are and what you believe, and then having these people that you love so much, contributing to everything you're trying to stop. Like, how is that impacting you?
It's not good. It's not good, to be honest with you. It's like living into realities. There's my reality, and then there's this reality that I see in front of me. I mean, I did have one of those moments. I mean, every vegan will have one of these moments where they'll walk through a city centre and they will look at everybody, and it's like slow motion of them biting onto animal parts, and all in your head is like, oh, that's pig, that's cow, and it's like a weird sort of dawning of everything that you've learned up until that point. So it's a bit like that sometimes in here. It's like I look at stuff and I think, oh my God, but I'm good at compartmentalizing things. So
yeah.
But it does, it is hard. It is hard to sort of, and I am working towards trying to slowly get them to try different things. My son is totally resistant to it.
Right.
But I think,
how old did you say he was?
He's 19. My stepson's 30.
Okay.
My son's 19. But
right.
where I live, I mean, you're not far from me. I'm in Oldham.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
So Shaw, where we live, it's a very macho town. It's a big drinking culture, fighting culture. Yeah. So my son sees veganism as a weakness, not as a strength. He wouldn't even watch Game Changers. He wouldn't even watch it. He wouldn't watch it because he knows he's he's like me, he's rational thinking. So he knows if he watches that might sort of push him over the edge. Yeah,
I get you. I'm about to make a video. Maybe this will be a good one for him to watch because it's going to be a parody video. And I'm playing a character that's like a macho, really like, oh, fucking, I'm all about steak. And my girlfriend's going to play a vegan. And we're going to act out like a parody where she's trying to understand what it means to be manly. And I'm going to go through all the things and she's going to question me, and be like, well, so is it manly to pay for other people to kill babies? And I'm like, yeah, of course it's manly. Yeah, manly, like really sarcastic. Maybe that's only going to be like 10 minutes. Maybe you could just send him that and be like, hey, look, this manly guy just destroyed this vegan. You'll love this.
Yeah.
And then maybe trick him to watching it. It's funny. It's good that you came on because your son is the people that I'm aiming for with this video, right? He is the exact target market, right? These pictures to make him feel a bit silly watching it, and especially because it's a girl, right? Because this is what these macho guys are all about. It's all about impressing the women. And in this video, it's going to be like, it's going to be playing on that macho nonsense basically to try and get the message across. So that could be cool. I hope it comes out well anyway.
You see, the thing is, though, when you look at it at what it is, you've got this big macho man, and what's he having for Sunday dinner? He's going to get a baby lamb and chop its leg off for Sunday dinner. It's like, and then he's going to eat some sausages from a 6-month-old child. It's like when you start putting it into context, it's really sort of, it's not that macho. And we all know that they use the same marketing methods as they did with tobacco to market meat to us. The meat industry really picked up on it and thought, right, okay, we need to get sponsors in sport. We need to get doctors to say this calcium's good for you. They've used the same model as smoking, and it's a really effective one. Do you remember the Marlboro man on his horse going through the desert with his
I've seen it, yeah.
And this is how they've done it. This is how they've done it. It's really good. It's really, really clever. And they use a lot. We're up against major psychology here. Major.
Definitely. And I think that's why the parodies like the ones that Danny does, Lifting Vegan Logic and a few others, I think these are so important for that reason, because it might seem like it's just a parody, but it is, you got to play the psychology game. You got to play this kind of like, all right, these industries didn't just win by just putting shit out there in like a really matter-of-fact way. Like they also won by putting things out in like a comedy way, or in like kind of like a subtle way, or, you know, it's subconscious a lot of the time. And I think, you know, some of these videos that are more sarcastic, that are more like parodies, that are more like, they do get a good message across in like a subconscious kind of indirect way sometimes, as well as the matter-of-fact messages like you get from Joey, like I do sometimes, and, you know, like I'm sure you do a combination of them as well. I saw your parody with vegan gays, for example, you know, about coming out vegan. Like these things are important because, you know, it is, as you just said, like we're up against big players who have really researched human psychology, and they're playing on it. And I think we got to go for a variety of different ways to try to get through to people.
I mean, you look at Christmas, right? You look at Christmas now, and what's the first thing that the kids are looking for at the run up to Christmas? What's the first thing they're looking for? The fucking Coca-Cola lorries.
Yeah.
Right?
God.
No Jesus in there, no religion in there, no Father Christmas. And I've actually argued with people on Facebook they're going to take the kids to see the Coca-Cola lorries. I drive lorries all day. It's like, come and look at my Yodel lorry if you want. But it's like feeding your kid a carbonated, sugar-filled, caffeine-laced drink for Christmas. Same with Easter, a hollow chocolate egg. It's like these companies are so clever at hijacking everything.
Yeah, totally. And the Coca-Cola thing, man, that's something I only woke up to like not that long ago, a few years ago, where I was just like, wait a minute. Like, this is fucking Coca-Cola. Like I don't even drink it because I know it's shit, but yet I'm excited for the truck. Like, I don't even drink Coca-Cola. What the fuck is wrong with me? They did so well with it.
So clever. It's now a part of Christmas.
Of course, man. Their marketing strategy is insane. But it's like definitely the same style as they've been using for, you know, meat, dairy, and animal products too. That's why you get people out there, like unfortunately, like your son, who have got it into their head that it's not his fault. It's everyone else's fault. Because I'm guessing you've been an influence for him. It's not like he's not had the right kind of people around him, but the others are just, there's more of them. There's just more other people telling him like, hey, it's macho, and you're the only maybe voice.
It really pisses me off, though, Dave. It really pisses me off because I'm the most macho man you can meet. I used to do the door at a pub and just sit in the back of the pub, and any trouble, I was on my own. I used to turf them out. I was a lot bigger then. I was a steroid user as well. And I was a big man. I was a big scary man, and I can look after myself. I'm one of the most macho men you can ever imagine. Yet he doesn't, but it's because I'm his dad. It's like, I like the same music as him. So I suppose veganism is the only way he can rebel against me.
Right.
I'm hoping, see, he's got asthma. He's got acne. And I keep saying, son, cut out the dairy just for a month. Watch your spots disappear. Watch your prescriptions for those anti-asthma drugs disappear. It will stop. But it's just, I'd rather go through the pain and suffering than stop. And it's just, man, I just give up. I just don't bother anymore. I just do my thing now.
I can imagine, mate.
But back to the original question, there's two lives going on. There's two lives going on in this house. And it's not ideal, and but I don't know what to do about it. So basically, it's just live with it at the moment.
Yeah, and it's when I'm talking to people about this, like especially like people who are saying that their friends and family, not so commonly the husband or wife, it's more that the mum and dad, because most people that speak to me, they're younger people who are still in at home, and they say like, my mum and dad won't let me go vegan, or you know, they're horrible to me about it. And my advice to them always is if they're just fighting you, and if it's clearly that they're just arguing with you and it's not going well, I always recommend that they don't do it. Like, don't speak to them about it, because at the end of the day, if you waste all your energy on these people and they do sap up your energy, like as you've just said now, like you're like, you know what, fucking hell, just don't want to do it, right? Then you're not going to make as many videos, are you? You're not going to go out and do as much activism. You're not going to, because you're fucking exhausted, man. And this is what I want people to realize, is that if it's not going anywhere, right? If it's a serious relationship, like if it's a marriage, if it's family, they're not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere, the conversation. So it's better actually to just go out and focus on other people and do other things, like do talks, do videos, and do other stuff. And maybe one day, just hope that one day they would bring it up with you, maybe. And that day when that happens, then talk about it. And I think this, you know, taking the pressure off yourself like that, I think it's helped a lot of people to be like, oh, I can breathe again. I don't feel like I have to constantly talk to them about this, because it really does sap up your energy, right? I mean, it really does. Like, it's a waste of energy.
I mean, I'll give one last word before I go, because my Vietnamese chicken is looking at me. Vegan chicken, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Is what I want to say to people out there is, if you are the only vegan in your household and you've tried everything, don't let it get to you. Just carry on living your life. Cook the best meals possible. Get them sniffing down the stairs like the Bisto kids. But don't worry about it. You're not being un-vegan by living with someone who's not vegan. It's yes, if you go out dating someone, look for someone vegan, or look for someone who you think you can slap into being vegan. But I don't mean that, by the way. But if you're already in that situation, don't worry about it. I mean, if vegans are going to slam you for living in a family of non-vegans, then ask them why they're living in a country full of non-vegans. Why are they getting in a taxi with a non-vegan taxi driver? Why are they going in a supermarket where there's non-vegan products? Yeah, don't let them tell you what to do. There's too much of this militant veganism going on between vegans. Yeah. I mean, all right, pull me if I'm walking around with a leather belt and swinging like bloody 3 pints of cow's milk around. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, don't worry about it if you're in a family full of non-vegans. They will come on board eventually. That's all I've got to say.
Definitely. Awesome, mate. Appreciate you coming on. That's really important. And I think a lot of people are gonna value that, and yeah, it'll help them out. So
thank you for letting me on, David. It's nice to talk to you finally.
Yeah, you too, man. We'll do this again. I'm planning. These are weekly, right? Every Sunday. So if you ever got something you want to talk about, a topic you want to bring it on here with me, or if you do them on yours as well. I don't know if you do live streams, but if you do,
yes, I do live streams. Yeah.
Okay,
can I plug one of mine?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, next Saturday, I've got the author of Vivi the Super Vegan. And these are vegan books aimed at children from 3 to, I think, about 8 years old. It's a first ever live interview, and that's next Saturday at 6:30. So please be there, guys. Peace. Thank you.
Man. Awesome, man. Cool. All right. Catch you later. Enjoy your food.
Thank you.
Cool. So yeah, I that was awesome. I really agree with him on everything he said there, about, you know, if you are in a situation like where you're living with non-vegan friends, family, yeah, what I said, basically, if it's not going well, if they're going to keep fighting you every time you bring it up, for your own mental health and also for the animals, don't talk about it, because you're going to be way more effective if you save that energy and spend it when you're talking to people who are actually interested. You know, imagine you waste all your energy on people who just fight you, right? And then when it comes to someone else who's actually interested and you're feeling like shit because of what happened at home and you don't talk to them, imagine you missed that opportunity to really help someone connect because you're so upset about arguing with your family. So it's really important. Your energy is not unlimited. You need to realize that you have got limited energy mentally, emotionally, that's the same thing, and physically as well. Okay, physical energy, it's very limited. So be careful with it. And actually, I wanted to touch a little bit more on the masculinity thing, because I am going to go into this with a few videos on this and how being a vegan man, I'm going to try and go more into this, I guess, in some parodies and some sarcasm videos, but also some serious ones. And I'll get serious now because, you know, Grumpy Vegan, I don't know his actual name, but we'll call him GVG, I guess it's quicker, or Grumpy. But anyway, he mentioned here about being masculine, about being, you know, a macho man vegan. And I think there is still this misconception that guys who are vegan just aren't, or that they're somehow like, I don't know, some kind of like snowflake or some kind of weaklings or something like that. And it's been going around since I was young, actually, when I was raised vegetarian, and this idea was still around then. And I mean, look, I mean, I don't, it's not, what I'm trying to say here is that, like, I'll tell you just, I'll let you decide, right? I basically grew up with a single mum, all right, with two brothers in that household. And we grew up in a really rough area, right? So what that means is we were involved in some not so good things. There's a lot of crime in the area. You had to watch your back. You had to be aware of what was going on. You had to, you know what I mean? You had to be street smart. All right. So that was kind of the upbringing that I had. So no, it was what it was. I wouldn't say it was bad because it made me who I am today. I appreciate having this real life experience, but you know, a lot of people would consider this as bad. They would say, wow, this is tough, quite a tough upbringing, like single mum, bad area, lots of crime, lots of drugs in the area. And like, it wasn't an ideal place for a child to grow up in, right? So a bit of a rough upbringing for myself and, you know, my brothers. And then from then on, I other things been involved in, you know, personally been in, like grew up from that, went to college, university, been involved in sports. Before college, university, American football, where I was playing full contact, you know, sports like hitting, getting hit, you know what American football is, full contact sport. And, you know, basically just, I've done, after that kind of rough upbringing, let's say, I did things that like kind of like any normal dude would do, including things that some average dudes don't do, like playing American football, or like, you know, that upbringing wasn't a normal guy's upbringing. That was more rough, which meant you had to be more rough. You had to be more of a rough person, like physically and mentally. You had to be able to take a lot of shit, you know, getting into fights and getting hit, or trying to defend yourself, someone trying to mug you or something like that. And then doing full contact sports. These are all things that would be considered, somebody would be considered like a hard person, right? Or a tough person. That's what I'm getting at. So my point is that veganism should be about the individuals. I don't know where this idea that vegan guys are all weak or wimps comes from, because my experience, I wouldn't call myself a wimp. I have literally been forced to not be a wimp because of my upbringing, right? And I went vegan after that, and that's the same with Grumpy. Like, the dude went into a lifestyle that was quite the opposite of being a wimp. You know, he was working on the doors. He was a bouncer. He was throwing people out. He was going, you know, he built his body up to get really big and wanted to scare people. And say what you will about that, whether you agree with that or not is another topic. But at the end of the day, you wouldn't label him as some kind of weak, kind of wimpy guy, would you? You know? So yeah, don't take that shit is kind of what I'm saying here. Don't take that shit, because at the end of the day, it's about the individual. And I'm so sick of seeing these kind of group mentality kind of points, you know, these stereotypes, these, you are this, so you must be this, right? That's what I'm kind of trying to get in at here. You're a vegan, so you must be soft, is kind of the, you're a vegan, so you must be a wimp. You're a vegan, so you mustn't be a real man, whatever the fuck that means. But you get my point. And there's so many examples of vegans who are like, you know, let's say more, I don't know, soft isn't the word, but let's say they aren't the most traditionally, you know, hard guys. Like, there are many vegans out there that are more soft around the edges, let's say. That's fine. But there are also many vegans out there that do things that would be considered to be rough, like UFC fighters. You know, that's fucking hard. That takes a lot of mental, physical strength, and you get a lot of pain. You know, you go through a lot. There are people like Damien Mander, who is like ex-military, who goes out and trains people on how to defend animals from poachers, right? You know, it's not good or bad to be more or less manly. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, it's not like all vegans fall into one category. And this is something that I just don't understand where it comes from, is what I'm trying to get at here. And you might feel like I'm tiptoeing around this topic a little bit. I am, because I don't really like the idea of, like, you know, being a real man and all this kind of shit. I think most of it's absolute bullshit. But at the same time, that unfortunately, that's kind of what most people believe in. They believe in like real men and wimpy men. And yeah, we got to, if we're going to have really a lot of success in bringing veganism to the masses and getting people to respect animals, unfortunately, we do have to kind of play with their rules, if that makes sense. We kind of have to use their language. We have to bring it to them in a way that they are going to understand it, right? And unfortunately, a lot of guys who are considering themselves to be alpha males, that's the language they respond to. You know, it is. The language they respond to is kind of like, what makes you a real man, or what makes you an alpha? And we kind of have to, you know, we have to kind of take that into consideration. Unfortunately. And it's an issue that, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's an issue that I don't really see it as much affecting women. You know, you don't hear someone saying like, you're not a real woman if you're vegan. You know, I've never heard anyone say that in my life. So, you know, this issue with kind of like being a real man or not, and veganism, it seems to be, it's still coming up, and it's crazy that it's still coming up in 2020. Because as I said, I've been hearing this shit since I was, you know, a young vegetarian at the age of like 12, 13. It's been since then, and it used to be about vegetarianism, and now it's about fucking veganism, you know? Oh. Yeah, I guess I could do like a whole other video on that, you know? It would be an interesting topic, you know, masculinity, alpha male, what would you even call it? Masculinity and the alpha male and veganism or something like that. And we could be like checking it out and getting into it, really getting into it. Yeah, that's a good point, actually, Vegan King. Vegan Gains hit those alpha male type guys like a truck back in 2016. Yeah, for sure. I think, yeah, I think Gains has been a big influence on a lot of, I keep doing this because I don't know what else to say, like alpha men, manly men. Like Vegan Gains has influenced them probably quite a lot. For sure, I'd say so. Yeah. All right, so let's push forward, right? I have something I want to show you from the industry, actually, that I think you're going to find pretty interesting. So I don't know if I've already mentioned this or if you already know, but I follow some industry websites, right? Some industry pages, articles, and they're posting quite a lot recently. But I pick out the ones that I feel like are the most. The most interesting, the most interesting for us. And this is one of them. So check this out. So this is by Beef Magazine, right? And I wanted to get into this because this Amanda Radke, I've covered a few of her articles before. She's got a real obsession with vegans and animal rights activists, and she goes into it quite a lot. But this one, again, it's some more good news, actually, right? Because of the COVID thing. Oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. They might demonetize the video now. Because of that, anyway, they're going to be canceling rodeos and livestock shows. And apparently, this is a big problem. So in this article, she goes through this and why it's a big problem. She also talks about animal rights activists here. Like, oh man, I'll show you this part. She's talking about how, look, for years, animal rights activists, environmental activists, and Hollywood elite have targeted livestock producers and our way of life. And it's like, yeah, your way of life is destroying the lives of others. So yeah, of course we're targeting your way of life. But and she's talking about the closures, cancellations, or postponements of rodeos and livestock shows, right? And how she's saying, will they ever come back after the pandemic is over? And I think I just loved reading this because, again, they're fucking terrified. These people are terrified. Their industry is starting to fall apart because of this whole situation. And a lot of them aren't going to come back from this, right? These shows, a lot of them won't come back. And she's saying, look, increased pressure from activist groups and greater liabilities to have animals in public places where they might be in danger from acts of violence from vigilantes. It appears these groups might finally be caving to the mob. So yeah, basically what this is saying, like translated, is that animal rights activists have been doing a really good job, and they're not. These people aren't in danger from acts of violence. That's just stupid. The sensationalist nonsense. But they are in danger from activists doing some actions, right? And now, yeah, these groups are caving to the mob. It's seeming like a lot of them might stop. Like that's what she's trying to get at here. And she's saying that without a place to connect with other consumers, how are they going to tell their story and show people in the community who they are and what they do? If we let these events cancel, what is to become of our place in society? When does showing cattle or competing in rodeos become one of those antiquated things? I don't even know what that word is. That states decide needs to go away for good. I think this is awesome. You see how terrified they are? And when I read this, this is like supposed to be some kind of shocking article for these farmers, right? Like, oh my God, what are we going to do, guys? Like, is anything ever going to be the same? And as a vegan reading this, as an animal rights activist reading this is brilliant. This is like, yes, it's brilliant. It's like these guys are running scared right now. These bloody events are closing down. These rodeos and livestock shows are getting cancelled. And one of the main writers of Beef Daily is saying that this could be like a real big problem for their communities, and that how are they, they're going to lose the ability to stay connected with their customers. I think it's just fucking awesome. I wanted to share that with you because, guys, get onto these websites, right? Some of the stuff they're talking about, it can actually really reassure you and give you some, because sometimes we're out there, right? Aren't we? We're out there. We're trying our hardest to make a difference. We're really pushing. And we're like, is anything even making a difference? Like, do these guys even look at what we're doing? They, like, you know, are the animal agriculture people, are they like paying any attention at all? Do they know what's going on with us, or are they concerned at all about what we're doing? Are we having an impact? And then you read an article like this and you see how they're like, shit's going, everything's going to shit. The activists are, they're caving into the activists now. The mob, as she said. And then the pig article that we discussed earlier, the pig farmers, like they're talking about how these welfarist protesters actually were able to cost them billions. I mean, guys should try and keep in touch with these articles, or alternatively, what you could do is instead of going and finding these articles yourself, you could just tune in every single Sunday to my live stream and I will show them to you. There you go. It's a win-win, right? It's a win-win. You can watch the live stream, you're supporting me, and I'll show you these articles every single time they come out. But how good is that, though? I mean, how good is that it's raising alarm bells for these guys, right? I think it's fucking awesome. I love seeing them squirm. I really do. Because these are the people as well. Like, don't feel sorry for these guys, right? Especially the author of this, and this, you know, this is Beef Magazine, yeah? This isn't some like, oh, this is just some small little, you know, farm, like, you know, they're not doing much in the world, like we should attack the big farm. No, these are like representing the industry, yeah? So when they're running scared, this is good. This is really good. So this, it made my day too, Vegan King. It made my day too. Just wanted to show that to you. So that was a really good article. What do you think about that anyway? Is that you liking this? You thinking this is positive, or am I missing something here? You think this is somehow bad? You just let me know in the comments. Yeah, they're scared and trying to instill fear into meat eaters to protect them. That's a really good point, because at the end of the article, as you said, actually, let me show you what she says at the end of the article. I didn't even show you. Look, it says here, these cancellations underscore the importance of taking our stories to social media. We need to continue to model our young people what showing cattle is truly all about. We need to show them how to pivot and move forward in challenging times like this. So yeah, you're right. They're talking about like pushing harder than ever before, like getting more support than ever before. It's like, yeah, I don't think so. You know, I don't think so. I don't think the young people are wanting to do this anymore. So without the brainwashing anyway, they can keep trying to brainwash people, but there's only so much you can brainwash people. We're getting our messages, vegan messages, vegan ethics are getting more and more in the mainstream now. So there's only so much they can do now to keep on, you know, brainwashing people. Kirsten says, yeah, the quality of the stream is a calculator. What can I say? I'm sorry. I planned a live stream. I set it up, and then the internet connection was shit. I had two choices. I cancel the live stream, or I carry on, but it has the quality of a calculator from 1999 in a fucking maths class at school, right? What can I tell you? It is what it is. I hope some of you are getting some kind of good quality at least, but I guess most of you aren't, unfortunately. So I had another article to show you. Check this out. See, I've got so much to show you. You see this? I read these things, right? Let me tell you what. One of the main reasons I do this live stream is the main one, obviously, is to get this stuff out to you, show you what's going on, and you know, and really share some news, elaborate some more, connect with you. But also, I also read some things sometimes, and I just get so pissed off. And I actually just want to vent to you guys a little bit, you know, show you and be like, what the fuck is this, you know? Like, what the fuck am I reading right now? So check this out. I found this, and it seems to be a good article on the surface, but when you get into it, so I don't know who this person is, but apparently she's famous, right? Her name is Fantasia. Does anyone know who this person is, Fantasia? All right. Anyway, this article popped up. What the fuck is this ad doing? Get out of here. Okay. And it says, Fantasia has not just gone vegan, but raw vegan, and she's hangry. I've only had broccoli and like a couple of carrots and celery. Now this pissed me off big time, right? Look at this shit. Now, like, it's like, oh, she's gone vegan. That's great. Yeah, everyone's like, she's gone vegan. Look what she's doing. I've only had broccoli and like a couple of carrots and celery. We all know what happens next. Now, this person, I don't know how famous she is. I don't know who she is, right? But she's famous enough to be featured in an article, and she's an American Idol winner. So she's famous. She's famous, right? And they've been doing some I don't know, some announcements about being vegan, and like apparently it's been good so far. They've been like baking stuffed zucchini and shit like that. It's like, you know, whatever. She's probably just plant-based, right? Plant-based dieter. No worries, yeah, no worries. But now she's doing like, she's opted to try out raw veganism, right? So eating only raw food. She's saying it wore me out and I'm a little hangry. I swear I'm hangry. Today I was just thinking about stuff I haven't eaten in a long time, and I'm vegan. So the devil, we just know where this is going to lead. And why do they do this? Right? Why do they do this? Now, let me just be really clear on something here, right? Really, really clear. The raw plant-based diet is not unhealthy by default. It's not. If you balance it properly, if you know what you're doing, you can be perfectly healthy eating a raw plant-based diet. You can. I've done it. I did it for like about a month, maybe. I felt pretty good. And the reason I stopped, it just took ages to prepare everything. You didn't cook anything, but preparing stuff, it just took me a long, long time. And then balancing it out, and it was a different way of eating. And I was like, you know what? I'm not that bothered about eating raw. I just tried it out for a bit of fun. I'm going to go back to just eating my normal plant-based diet, right? That's what I did. But I did it. When I was doing it very well, right? I balanced it properly. Now just look at this shit. Look at this shit here. 1 minute. Oh, wait, there's a bit where she talks about what she was actually. Okay, let's check this out. She had to get something in hospital, right? She had a small procedure at the hospital. She was starving, and there weren't options in the area. You know, they didn't have many vegan options in the area or something. So she was just like eating either nothing. Here we go. Pray for me because all I'm doing is raw. I'm only doing raw, so I've only had broccoli and a couple of carrots and celery. I'm sorry, but fuck, if you're in hospital and they've got vegan food, but you're raw, so you won't eat it. No, you're going to make yourself sick if you just eat broccoli, a couple of carrots and celery. She's going to be the next fucking ex-vegan idiot very quickly. I don't know, it just wound me up reading this. It really wound me up. And I just don't know why these people, I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. I really just don't understand what kind of goes through their mind, and like how irresponsible they are. Right? How irresponsible do you have to be to go promoting this shit, to go and make it, you know, go and tell people like, oh, I'm a raw vegan, I've only had broccoli and a couple of carrots and celery. And then we wonder why we see people, right, out there who are like losing their hair or like fucking up their teeth or their skin goes horrible. And they're like, yeah, I went vegan and this is what happened to me. It's because they follow people like this woman who's famous telling people to just have broccoli, carrots, and celery. And then she's going to be, the next thing she's going to be posting like, oh, I started to feel so unhealthy. I had no energy. My hair got brittle and my eyes started to feel really baggy and I was really tired all the time. And it's like, well, that's what's going to happen if you eat broccoli, carrots, and celery and nothing else, right? And anyway, what's more worrying is, as I said, is the influence these people have on other people, right? Because how many young, you know, people who are influenced by this woman, right? Especially young people, because young people are very much influenced by, you know, by influencers. And I'm gonna also mention the fact that obviously she's black as well, right? So she's bringing veganism and the message of veganism to I'm gonna assume could be young black women who are also looking at her and thinking, wow, okay, yeah, this is cool. Like I'm so used to seeing, you know, white women who are vegan or white men who are vegan. Like this is inspiring. She might be inspiring like a whole wave of young black women to go vegan, and then they're going to be following her and being like, okay, so broccoli, carrots, and celery, cool. Fuck it. It's just so irresponsible. It's just so irresponsible. Oh, nothing more to say about that, really. It's a really missed opportunity, right? Because, you know, she could have got this out to really influenced some people out there, you know. And she has influenced people for sure prior to this. You can see like videos on her account making food and stuff, but yeah, I'm just really disappointed in that basically. And I would hope that she just sees the error of this nonsense rather than continuing to, you know, boast about eating basically nothing to an audience of what will most likely be young women, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, do you have any comments on that? I mean, I see a lot of comments here actually. Let me just see if there's anything I want to put up on the screen before we move on. I've got a few more topics for you. You're lucky. Yeah, I've got one more that I think like two or three more topics actually. I was saying you're lucky because I actually have a list of them that I didn't include in the 5 Minute Friday that I thought I might want to talk about. So we've got a lot to go through. If you're enjoying this, you're lucky. If you're not enjoying this, well, unlucky because there's a lot more. Yeah, this here, what was that? I just saw a good one. Yeah, anti-vegans will be like, wait, what? Vegans be like, she did it. Yeah, okay, yeah, everyone says she did it wrong. Yeah, I hope so, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I just read a comment that I got distracted. I can't multitask right now. But yeah, we'll move on from this then. We'll move on to some topics then. So one of the other topics that I covered in the 5 Minute Friday was actually the what was going on with the pyramids in Cairo, right? And I couldn't get into it in much more detail. I left it as like a good news story, but I'm going to show you this as well because I think this is actually really interesting. Unless you want to talk, you keep talking more about the plant-based diet, but I thought I covered that. I'll conclude on that. So basically, my point of bringing that up was, yeah, people who are posting about the incomplete diets, the unbalanced diets, giving a really bad image of the plant-based diet and influencing young people to do stupid shit and then blame it on veganism when their health goes to shit. That's my point anyway. That's what I'm getting at. And it's really irresponsible when people do it, and I wanted to call it out. That's basically it. Yeah. And yeah, Gabriel, absolutely. You get all your nutrients from liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. If you're not subscribed, I would be surprised because you're watching the live stream and it's been 1 hour and 20 minutes. So do subscribe. If you don't have notifications on, what the hell are you doing? Switch those notifications on. Like, click the little bell right now. Come on, don't do this to me. YouTube sees that, right? And if you don't have notifications on, they're like, oh, this guy must suck, right? Because his followers don't even want to see his videos when they first come out. Imagine that's the message you're sending to YouTube if you don't have notifications on. So switch those fuckers on for me. That would be awesome. And get all your nutrition from liking, sharing as well. Appreciate it. So let's talk about this. Sorry, there's a little bit of like a not graphic image, but it's not a very, well, it's kind of graphic. It's not a pleasant image in this article, but this is really interesting and really good. And I wanted to get into it a little bit more, into kind of these small wins that we can get and why they're important. So basically, these cruel animal rides are going to be banned at the Giza pyramids, thanks to PETA, one of PETA's campaigns, one of PETA's many campaigns, which they do so many campaigns, and this one was a successful one. So basically, there's like literally like 14 million visitors to Egypt, to the pyramids, like every year, and a lot of them are riding these camels, right, and donkeys and horses, and you know, they obviously really suffer, like extremely, and now this is going to be banned because PETA, because of some PETA protests and you know, campaigns. And it brings the question up again. It's kind of what we talked about earlier, about how the welfarism versus abolition message. Now, PETA obviously went in there and they could have said, okay, you should ban these rides in the entire country for tourists, right? I'll close that down. You don't need to look. And they could have done it that way, and they could have had some success. Who knows how it would have gone? But they've done it this way. They've focused on one specific area, and they're focused on you know, welfarism here, and that the animals are suffering, and that it needs to be stopped. But that for that specific area, and they were very successful in this specific campaign. And yeah, I think it's an interesting point, and it kind of, again, it showed me that these specific campaigns can be very successful. They can be very powerful, and they do really help animals. That's the important thing, though. They do really help animals. So for me in the past, I've kind of tried to maybe not give as much attention to these kinds of campaigns, because I kind of see them as I used to see them as kind of, I just didn't really support welfarism at all, right? But after seeing so many of these successes, right, from this kind of activism, I have to say that I do see more of a place for it. And I think with PETA specifically, I agree with Michael here in that I don't always agree with them, but they get some shit right. You know, they do actually get shit done quite a lot. And this is just one of the examples. And this was like a very much a single issue campaign, you know, a very specific issue campaign. And it was really successful. And I think after seeing this, and also after seeing, you know, the other campaign, which cost the pig farmers billions of dollars, I am kind of starting to sway a lot more towards getting involved in some of these specific campaigns, as well as doing the general kind of trying to reach the public and get them to go vegan. I think there's also absolutely a place in our movement for these campaigns as well, you know, focusing on specific issues. I think we could definitely apply ourselves to all of them. And that's kind of why I wanted to bring this up, because I think it's just, you know, you see what's been happening here. And I'm not going to show anything graphic, but you can see, you know, for these animals now in the pyramid area, Giza pyramid area, this is not going to happen anymore. You know, is that not incredible? Like, what an achievement. Can you just think about that for a second? In the Giza pyramid area, one of the wonders of the world, millions of tourists every single year, this is not going to happen anymore. There's going to be no more animal rights. And I just think it's awesome. Yeah, I think it's a really amazing thing. Yeah, and I wanted to share that one with you because because I'm happy about it, and I just want to, yeah, give it some attention and elaborate on the fact that, yeah, I think we definitely need to put more time into some of these individual actions, into these individual campaigns, as well as putting time into these larger campaigns, as, you know, advocating for veganism as an overall thing. There's one more topic I want to share with you as well, and I think then we'll go for a Q&A, maybe like a direct Q&A, and then I think we'll close it. We'll keep it to a short one. We've got no guests today, unless any of you wanted to come on. As I've said, you are more than welcome to come on. But I'm almost finished with my topics that I wanted to talk to you about today. I've got maybe one or two more to bring up, and then I will be kind of closing down. So you'll have to, if you've got questions, you better get them over here now, and we can start to, well, not yet actually, because I'll lose them in the chat, but very soon we'll do some questions. So just yesterday, okay, I was asked a question, and I want to tell you about this because I think it's really important for myself and for anyone that's also like activists that you see going in slaughterhouses. So you may have seen people like James Aspey or Joey Carbstrong, or even, I think even Ed did this at one point as well, going into slaughterhouses and filming the slaughter of animals. I've done it in India. I believe James did it in Indonesia, and some others have done it in other places too. So one of the most common messages that I receive, and I don't know if these guys receive it too, but one of the most common messages that I receive is people asking me, why did you not do something? Why did you not save the animal? Why did you just film them? In quite an accusational way. Like, it feels like I'm being accused, as if like I could have done something. And I think I want to bring this up as a topic because it's so common. And I think it really needs to be addressed, because I don't think many people consider what you go through, or what someone goes through throughout this whole thing, this whole situation of going into a slaughterhouse and filming. So first of all, let me explain it from the first steps, all right? So first of all, you need to approach the slaughterhouse, and you have to convince them to let you in and film. How do you do that? Well, you have to basically give them the impression that you are not a threat, right? That you're not here to attack them. You're here to just document, right? And doing that means you have to smile, you have to shake hands, you have to let them take a photo with you if that's what they want. You have to, you know, smile and say hello to all the slaughter workers. You have to act like basically there's no problem here. You have to act like you're pro this, right? So imagine how that is. In my case, I was in India, so I would do this. I would get into the place, and there was a bit more of a excitement because it was like, wow, there's a foreigner in here with a camera, and this is really interesting. So people would come over and it's like, hey, can I take a selfie? Can I have a selfie with you? Like, smile. You're smiling, right, on the camera while there are animals being killed right by you. So you just imagine how that's going to be, right? What that would be like. Also, when you're in these places, these people are not just average everyday people. These are people who are paid and trained to kill. They slice animals' throats for money. This is what they do as a job. Now, I'm not saying that they would simply do that to a human, because obviously, I guess they draw some kind of arbitrary line between the value they put on these animals and the value they put on humans. But it's not unheard of for slaughterhouse workers to be abusive and violent both inside and outside of their homes. That's all over the country, okay? So imagine all of this is happening and I'm filming and I can't do anything, right? If I try to do something, if I try to tell them you shouldn't kill this animal, I'm putting myself at risk, my you know, which is not the worst thing in the world, that my own health at risk. It's like, okay, it's worth it, right? But also my equipment is at risk. So imagine I get my camera taken away from me or smashed, and then I get hit as well, and then I don't save the animal dies anyway. So what have we achieved, right? What have we achieved? Because this is most likely how it would go. The best case scenario of this is the police come and arrest you because you're causing a problem, or they remove you themselves physically, or they call the police to remove you physically. So basically, I guess what I'm trying to say here is, these questions, that when people send these questions and they say like, hey, why didn't you do something in this accusational way? Vegans say this, why did you not do something? And sometimes it's in a nice way, okay, but it feels like it's accusational quite a lot of the time. It's important not to ask it in that way. If you want to know why someone didn't do anything, in your opinion, do anything apart from document, why not just ask them, hey, how was it in there? Like, is there any possibility to get animals out, or is it too dangerous? Like, what's the situation? That's a great question. Asking someone, like, imagine you see James Aspie post a video of himself in a slaughterhouse now, commenting under that or messaging him saying, why did you just stand there, James? What the fuck is wrong with you? Why did you just film that, James? Why didn't you go and try and do something, James? Like, it's so easy to sit there as a vegan, right, or anyone, at your laptop or on your phone and just say shit like that when you've never done it, right? It's so easy when you've never, or when you've not been in that exact situation that James Aspie, for example, or that I was in. You don't understand the emotions that you're going through. You don't understand that whilst you're filming, there's someone right beside you watching what you're filming, right? A slaughterhouse worker. You don't understand that just before I started filming, I had to take about 5 selfies with slaughterhouse workers who were really happy to have me there, right? And you think that I can suddenly switch it on and just be like, hey, you shouldn't fucking kill those animals. And you think this is going to go well? And you think that's going to somehow save the animal? So I wanted to kind of, this is a rant basically, but I wanted to really get it out and just basically remind everyone in here, including myself, try to be more understanding and be careful with what you put on publicly, and also with what you message people, because you don't know what people are going through. You don't know where they're at, especially activists. You have no idea where they're at, right? Yeah, I've been so low sometimes, like so down and feeling like horrific after doing an investigation, or after rescuing an animal, or rescuing an animal who died. You know, you go through all of this effort to get them out of these fucking hellholes, and then you take them away and you save them and they die. And then to open up my social media to receive shit from vegans telling me you should have done more, you should have done something different, you're not doing good enough, or like, why did you just film? What's wrong with you? And like shit like that. So it's bad. And for some people, it could be the last straw. It could really push them over the edge to doing something very stupid. Right, because we're in very sensitive positions, aren't we, when we are, you know, faced with such horrific violence. So just be more aware of it and be considerate to who you're talking to and what you're saying to them, especially vegans who are doing activism, because you just don't know where you're catching someone. And also remember, there's a lot of shit they're doing that is not online, right? There's a lot of shit they're doing that isn't even public, behind the scenes, that you don't see, right? You don't see what's going on sometimes. So you just be aware of that. You don't know what's going on. And your message that you may have been typing emotionally because you're upset, you know, well, maybe just take a few more seconds and think, wait a minute, do I want to send this to them? Do I want to make this comment? Do I want this to happen? Maybe this isn't the right time. Maybe I could position this in a better way. So I hope you get that message, and I hope some of you take it on board. And I'll show you an example, by the way. I'm gonna pull up an example of what I'm talking about right now, actually. Not necessarily an example of the message, because the message that I received yesterday, we sorted it out, so I don't want to show that guy's message, but I want to show you the kind of shit that that vegans, that vegan, I don't know what you would even call myself, like activists who are doing a lot of stuff in the public eye, some of the kind of shit that we get, right? And I'm going to show you it as an example so you can kind of see, and I would hope that you would also, I don't know, maybe defend people when you see this, you know, so show that there's, you know, you've got, show some support, and then, you know, call these people out for being assholes when they're being assholes. I'm just trying to find this comment for you to show you what I'm talking about. It looks like it might have been removed, you know. Hold up, sorry. I'm going to find this real quick for you so you can see it. As an example, you'll like it. I mean, I know you guys like, I said this last time, a lot of you got upset, but I know you like drama. Everyone likes drama. So I'm going to show you a comment, a dramatic comment that I got that was not cool, as the kind of example of some shitty vegans out there, because there are shitty vegans, right? I'm sure you've all met a shitty vegan in your life, at least once. So I screenshotted this comment because I wanted to save it. I don't know if this person's removed it, but I can't find it right now. But it doesn't matter anyway. She still made it. Damage is done. So here it is. Oh, hold up. How is it? Share screen, application window. All right, here we go. There you go. Check this out, right? This is a comment that I got after the John Venus live stream. It's a false analogy to compare John, who has been a non-vegan, then vegan, and back to the non-vegan, to a hunter that goes vegan but does not return to hunting. Please learn how to do proper analogizing and not fallacious reasoning, right? So that's okay. That's fine, that first bit. But the last bit, you see that? You sound like you are secretly eating animals and their secretions. Can you believe that a person, a vegan, came onto my fucking channel, right, and said that shit, this shit at the end, because we disagree about John fucking Venus? This shit is the kind of shit that puts people off speaking out about animal rights, right? It puts people off starting a YouTube. It puts people off building an Instagram. It puts people off just basically doing anything. Vegans, there are so many vegans out there that want to be activists, but they don't become activists. Why? It's not because they don't give a shit about animals. It's because people like this put them off it. I mean, why would you want to become an activist if all you get is shit from non-vegans and shit from people in the industries, in the animal-like industries, and then you get shit from vegans? You get shit from vegans. And Kirsten saying it's not too bad, I've seen worse. Yeah, absolutely. I've seen worse too. That's the point. This isn't even that bad, right? But well, on the surface, it doesn't seem that bad. But look, you sound like you are secretly eating animals and their secretions. Look, that to me means that person's accusing me of being an animal abuser. She's accusing me of being an animal abuser. So she's accusing me, someone who I've been through some extremely horrific shit trying to do what I can for these animals. I've seen shit that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy to see, right? I've been in places that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy to ever be in, these places where these animals are being tortured, and the shit that's being done to them has been horrific, like things you couldn't even imagine. I've got videos that I still haven't edited because I just don't know what I would do with them. They're so horrific that I'm like, I don't even know if this is the right thing to post these things. And this person is accusing me of secretly eating animals and their secretions. Fucking moron. And this, you know, this is 1 second, my light's just bumped out. I'm just going to get another battery in that. But this is the kind of shit I'm talking about when I tell you about be aware of who you're talking to, what you're talking to them about, what they've been through, right? And just try and, you know, consider that maybe you disagreeing doesn't mean they abuse animals, right? I know it might be crazy, right? But people might disagree with you on certain things for certain reasons. It doesn't make them an evil person, right? You could disagree with another vegan on something. It doesn't mean they're a fucking evil person. It doesn't mean they're an animal abuser because you don't see eye to eye on some things. It's ridiculous. I'm just going to block the beef emoji, asshole. But yeah. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about these comments here. So be aware of it, please. Now let's do a Q&A, all right? Let's do a question and answer. You can ask anything you want now. I'll wait around for a little bit, get some questions, and we'll do some answers. And then I think we'll wrap it up after that. I think it's a relatively short one, 1 hour, 40 minutes, but yeah, I feel like we're reaching a natural conclusion. I feel like we've gone through a lot of the stuff I wanted to go through, and I want to go through some stuff you want to go through too. So that's why I want you to ask me some questions. What do you want to talk about? Now's the time. Let's go. Now is the time. I'll take a look through some of the old comments while you're doing it. Oh, okay, yeah. Vegan King, have I seen the posts Antifa Vegan have made about me? It's Vegan Antifa, I believe, on Instagram. And I saw some, but they've made their account private, and I'm not going to follow them. But yeah, another example of the kinds of fucking morons that we have in the vegan movement, unfortunately, if they are even vegan, which I would highly doubt, to be honest with you, with the kind of shit they post. A real vegan wouldn't spend all of their energy and time posting about other vegans and trying to make them look bad. I mean, that's crazy. Imagine calling yourself, I don't know, a feminist, and then all you do is talk about other feminists who you don't agree with. Be like, well, are you really a feminist? Like, are you really trying to fight against oppression? You're just bitching about other people who are doing the same thing as you, but in a way that you don't like. It's kind of like, yeah, so I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them. All right. How to stop cravings for meat? That's really easy. Just think about the animals that are having their throats slit for it. If you still crave it after that, then I'd say you've got some serious issues. And a serious note, that's the most practical thing I can tell you, really. Whenever you think about animal flesh, meat, think about animal flesh. Think about that animal. Go and look at some animals. Go and meet some animals and think about their bodies with the fur and then you know, all of that, and also like look at them in the eyes and think about their personality and be like, right, this is what ends up on my plate, and make that connection, and you'll never want to eat it ever again. In a more like in terms of like flavors and taste, this is secondary, but you can get mock meats. You can make things like with like beans or mushrooms that could be very similar in terms of like taste and texture. But ultimately, the first step for you is to really connect with what this is. And it's those animals that are having their throats slit. Make that connection. And you know, if you still want to eat it, as I said, I'd say that's something I can't help you with. If you still want to eat it after that, I'd say you're probably best off going to some kind of a psychiatrist, because that would be pretty sick, to be honest, if that made you want to eat them, like, you know, the thought of like slitting their throat. So I'd take a look into that. Have I worked in slaughterhouses? Technically, I don't know. I've done my work in slaughterhouses, as in I have been in slaughterhouses, many slaughterhouses, and I've documented, and I've been there while they've killed animals. I've been shown around and explained how a few slaughterhouses work, introduced to the workers and the machinery, and I've watched them use it all and stuff like that. So I've not necessarily been paid to work there, but I've done my work in these places, yeah. Am I aware of vegans willing to twerk for the farm animals? Actually, yeah. I don't know, this is a troll account, but actually, yeah, there are some vegans out there that have OnlyFans accounts, where they're raising money for animal sanctuaries. So technically, I know you're trolling, but yeah, and it's whatever. It's each to their own. It's a good way of raising money. I personally wouldn't do it because I don't think anybody would want to see me twerk. But it's yeah, if some people want to do it, that's good for them, and good for the animals because they're raising money for them. Okay, looking in for any more questions here. Sorry, I just jumped to the bottom. I'm trying to find your questions now. All right. What would be a good way to advocate if you were in a non-vegan job or one where you're around non-vegans, such as retail? So yeah, if you're in a retail environment, so like I used to work in retail, and I know that you have these common areas in the back. So you have the lunch canteen and you have a news board, like a bulletin board. Normally you're allowed to put stuff up on the bulletin board. So you could put some poster there, like something, if they would allow you to put something that's more graphic, you could do that, or just a simple message would put up there. You could bring in, I used to do this all the time for my old job, my office job. I would bring in vegan food and I would just like say, hey guys, I've brought in like, I don't know, vegan cookies or vegan cakes. You guys can all try them. And it's just a good way to bring up the topic without disrupting your job. Because obviously if you piss people off, you're going to get fired, right? You can't just go in there and do a disruption and just start shouting like, you all go vegan, you fucking murderers. You can't really do that in a job environment, in a work environment, but you can introduce them to the food, and you can maybe give out some leaflets, maybe some cards, say, hey, you should watch this at home. I used to do that all the time in my old job and never had one complaint. All I had was people saying like, yeah, I'll watch this documentary about this. Yeah, thank you for the cookie. And, you know, it was really cool. So that's how I would recommend to do it. I think it's the most effective way when you're at work. Don't you think these unreasonable criticisms are meat and dairy shills? It's probably a fake picture too. Unfortunately, vegan Lynn Cat, these criticisms that come in, these unreasonable criticisms that are from vegans, they are most of the time from vegans. I mean, yeah, of course there are some shills. Of course there are some industry plants. But there are also a ton of vegans who are fucking assholes. To put it bluntly, there are some serious assholes that are vegan. And of course, it's nothing to do with them being vegan. They would be assholes if they weren't vegan. They're just assholes, right? They just want to attack other people. Unfortunately, they exist. They exist in the vegan spaces. They exist in the feminist spaces. They exist in the anti-racist spaces. They exist in you know, the LGBT spaces. You know, pick a group, pick a demographic, pick an anti-oppression group of anywhere, and there'll be assholes in there, right? It is what it is. Unfortunately, they're around. We've got to just. I mean, for me, I rant about them, but they don't really get to me that much anymore because I've seen so much of it. But I understand some people, it could be the last straw for them, you know. So it is important we call it out and we don't stand for it. What is for dinner? Well, I just actually had dinner. I had a gyros wrap. You know, gyros, like the Greek gyros wraps. So I had one of those. And that was with like a mushroom and hummus, I think, and some other stuff, some of the veg and like a wrap and like a pita bread. It was pretty cool. Taylor again, hi. If I had serious health issues, would I go back to eating animal products? You mean if I had serious health issues, then it wouldn't be anything to do with me not consuming animal products. I mean, I've been a vegan for 11 years, and even if I had serious health issues as a vegan, I know I could solve those health issues on a plant-based diet and still be a vegan. So no, I wouldn't. There is nothing in animal products that I can't get. There's nothing in animal products that we can't get from a plant-based diet or from proper supplementation if it's needed. And you might say to me, oh, well, supplements aren't natural. At the end of the day, I don't think what's important is what's natural or not, because wearing clothes isn't natural, using headphones isn't natural, sitting in a house isn't natural. But why do we do them? Well, because they make our lives better and they're convenient. And, you know, especially clothes, I mean, they help us to survive, for example, in cold weather or you know, keeping your sensitive areas covered. For example, in terms of consuming animal products, I wouldn't ever need to. Right? I wouldn't ever need to. And the natural argument doesn't matter with supplements, because me taking supplements is definitely a better direction than me slitting an animal's throat or abusing an animal, right? The natural argument for me doesn't even come up, because I will do anything. I will go to any length that I can to avoid putting someone through hell, right? Putting any of these animals through hell. So yeah, sorry, short answer to that question. I've rambled on and kind of jumbled things up a little bit, but the short answer is no, because I would be able to solve my health issues without consuming any animal products. Do I know a natural vegan? She criticizes other vegan activists all the time. I watched about 2 minutes of one of her videos and it pissed me off, so I stopped watching it, and I've never watched another one of her videos again. Pretty much how it went. I didn't like her attitude. I didn't get a good vibe. And yeah, I think in the video she was criticizing another vegan. So no. All right. Comments. Okay, Gabriel. Do you think our money has huge power towards the industry producing sliced animal or not? If they don't sell their corpse, they won't produce corpse for fun. Yeah, of course, our money has a big impact on the industries, but also it's important to note that they are also subsidized, right? So yeah, it does have an impact. Of course, they see as the demand drops and drops and drops and drops, there will come a point where the government will stop subsidizing the industries, because they'll be like, wait a minute, nobody wants this, right? So there will come a moment, but that's why a lot of activists talk about political lobbying and political activism. And I think both are absolutely necessary to have the social activism and the political activism. It's really important to have both. Unfortunately, you often find that a lot of people, most of the people who do like AV and stuff, and like, you know, they do outreach and they talk to people and they do activism on YouTube, Instagram, and that kind of thing. They will absolutely say like, yeah, we need both. But you'll find a lot of political activists or political vegan lobbying kind of people, they don't want both. And I don't know why. I feel like it's become almost like a new subset of veganism. It's like, oh, we're doing more real activism than the rest of you kind of thing, which is really sad, because I don't understand why we seem to look for more divisions between vegans. We just seem to, not we, but like these different groups of vegans seem to want to push themselves away from the rest, as if it's like, it's cool to be mainstream, so it's not cool to be mainstream. So they're like, yeah, I'm going to be a specific type of vegan that's not like all you other vegans. And it seems to happen quite a lot. And to be honest, I'm fucking sick of it. I think there's absolutely a place for the social activism as well as the political activism, and I think they can both meet in the middle one day, or maybe the political activism comes up further and the social activism meets it at a different point, But I think both are absolutely necessary, and our money or lack of our money going into these industries is of course it's a huge message and it's very powerful. How do you feel about people who quit veganism? It's a good question. It's a complicated one. I used to have some opinions that were quite predictable on this, but I would say they're a bit different now. I am not supportive of people who quit veganism. I don't believe they actually quit veganism, as I don't believe that they don't, to quit veganism would mean that you go to a life where you believe that animal abuse is okay. Right? I don't believe these people believe animal abuse is okay. They don't just feel like, you know what, fuck it, animal abuse is fine. No, they don't do that, right? Something's changed that made them think that all of a sudden it's justified because I don't know, they think it's good. They come up with these different justifications, like I'm doing it in an ethical way, right? Or they say this kind of crap. I'm gonna hunt my own animals down and kill them myself, and all this kind of shit, like John Venus did. They kind of try to justify it to themselves. So I guess how I feel about it, extremely disappointed in them. But it varies from person to person about what else I feel after that. It's like I try to understand what the fuck is going on with them, right? Why did you do that? Like, what led to that point? How do you get to that point? And if it makes 10 times out of 10, it makes no fucking sense, right? But I think sometimes, in some occasions, there is a chance that they could realize, they fucked up, and I would always welcome them back to not doing that. The door would always be open for me to have them on this channel, for example, and talk to them about what the fuck happened, and even, you know, if someone quit veganism right now and wanted to come on here to talk about it, I would have them on, because as much as I would be tempted to just bash them and rip into them, as I have done, I would prefer to get them on here and talk to them and be like, what the fuck is going on, you know? So yeah, my attitudes towards this are extreme disappointment for the animals, especially because of what they're now going to go through thanks to this person. But also I'd want to understand what's going on, and I would want them to come on the channel and talk about it if they wanted to as well. Taylor, again, lots of questions, dude. I appreciate it. But do I watch Vegan Gains? Yeah, I watch Vegan Gains. I do. I watch most of his videos. I'm interested in, yeah, some interesting topics, and honestly, he's entertaining. Can't deny that, can you? Love or hate him, he's entertaining. So, so yeah, I do watch Gains. How old am I? Oh no, she's talking to someone else. It's all good. So yeah, if we're all good there, if you're all done with the questions, I think I'll wrap it up then now, just short of the 2-hour mark. So I will say, and yeah, you've got maybe 10 more seconds, 20 more seconds for some questions if you want to put them in there. But otherwise, I'm going to say my goodbyes. I'm going to sign off. And this Wednesday, I should have a new video coming out this Wednesday for you, which is actually going to be about a guide, the 2020 guide to being a better vegan. All right. So it was a guide that was written by someone else, but unfortunately, it's not a good guide. It's really fucking bad. And I'm going to show that to you. That's going to be coming on Wednesday. That's going to be launching. I'm going to launch the premiere soon, so you can all get onto it. But first of all, I need to find an internet connection that's not a piece of shit so I could upload it, because as you can see, this one is absolute garbage, as I look like a fucking potato on the screen. So yeah, I'll try and fix that and get this video up for you. I'm sure you're going to love this one, so do check it out. And in terms of these live streams for the future, you are welcome to join me on them. If you would prefer to like prepare for it or something like that, drop me an email or drop a comment on this live stream, like you know, we can talk about it, we can try and arrange it, but I think email is better actually. So email me saying you want to join a live stream next week or the week after, and we can arrange it. I can show you how it works, get it all set up, and you can come on and we can have a good old chat about everything, you know, vegan topics and animal rights stuff, and anything you want to talk about. I'm more than up for it. I'm really excited to keep doing these live streams with you, and I'm open to whatever you've got to say, you know, advice for future live streams, stuff like that. This is all new to me. As you can see, I'm just rolling with the punches and seeing how things go, and just jumping into topics when they come up, and trying to keep it interesting. Thanks so much for joining, everybody. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit the notification bell. Don't miss this week's new video on Wednesday, and of course, the 5-Minute Friday, and then next week's live stream on Sunday. See you all very, very soon.